Well, happy Sunday morning, everyone. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. Has your weekend been so far? How is your Sunday morning? Mine's good. I have coffee. So how you doing? Hey, Allison, I see you over there. And I think Field Guy was in quite a bit earlier. And Matthew Sainsbury from Barbados. And Josh Kemp. And who else we got going this morning? Let's see. Morgan Snow was here a little earlier. Daniel Ondra is here. And a few more of you streaming in by the looks of things. You are welcome into the chat room if you want to come on in and share your thoughts this morning on whatever we're going to be talking about. So I don't really know because as many of you who are regulars already know, and those of you who this may not be something you've ever attended before, this Sunday morning show. This Sunday morning show and every Sunday morning show is a much more informal version of the show we do during the week, which is Intrepid Radio and the Captain's Cabin. And it's so informal this morning, as a matter of fact, I'm still in my robe. I didn't even get dressed. It's my Mickey Mouse robe. I think I've had this robe for 20 years or more. I got this robe when I was doing Renaissance Festival. A buddy of mine, Eric Nelson, if you're out there listening, Eric, I think he's still got his too. Some of us who were Royal Guard and pirates and stuff, Eric got a bunch of these from Disney World. I think that's where he got them. And it's got the Black Watch plaid. And of course, our guys were all doing Black Watch back then. And I think when I got this was long before I knew Raini. So I think it was the late 90s was when I was given this robe. And I have worn this robe almost every day since then. And it's only got one little tiny, a couple of the threads here are going on the cuffs are going a little skimpy, but it's not threadbare anywhere, and it has lasted. It's probably because it's fake fabric. It's that it's not a plushy terry cloth robe or anything like that, but it works, and it's got Mickey. So there you go. It's our Black Watch Mickey robes. So that's how informal we are on Sunday mornings. Still wearing my robe from up, taking a shower, making coffee, and saying good morning to Raini this morning. Couldn't get her out of bed yet. She's still over there. She might have gone upstairs to see the kids. So she crawls in with the little kid and watches TV in the morning. And so there you go. Coffee. It's good coffee this morning. So what are you all up to this morning? How has your morning been so far? What do you want to hear on Sunday mornings? Let me know. Do you like just sticking with the casual conversation, or would you like me to come up with some topics? We used to do some more religious, heavy-duty religious type of topics in the mornings on Sunday. So let me know. Let me know what you'd like to hear, and we'll do that. And but for now, I have nothing formal planned. I like to look at the news headlines, and sometimes we don't always get into those right away. But the war in Israel is going to be long, says Netanyahu. He said that in a live speech. Mike Pence dropped out of the presidential race. It's like, he says, it's not my time. I could have told you that before you threw your hat in and wasted time and money, Mike. Who was going to vote for Mike Pence? I think sometimes these politicians, they live in these little bubbles. And they think because they walk into a hall or a convention center and there's 1,000 people there, that the country must want them to run for office, must want them in office. And I think that's a miscalculation. And so I would think, now, of course, there's a lot of benefit to running for president, knowing you're not going to win. It's to get on that list of whoever might win, to be part of their cabinet, or whatever it might be. But at the same time, knowing that you might get nothing. And I think Mike Pence, having been the vice president and really fallen out of favor with Trump, who was probably going to be the forerunner. Maybe he was hoping Trump wasn't going to be the forerunner, but he has finally pulled out of the race, is the bottom line. He says, not my time. And it's, well, we kind of all knew that, Mike. You've had your time. You're a nice man. So on, you gotta, there you go. So the Gazans have broken into the aid centers. They're taking flour and supplies. Hopefully that is the Gazan people and not Hamas breaking in and doing that. That's one of the fears of our Congress, was voting for this aid to come in from our country and having it all diverted by Hamas. So, so let's keep going. What do we got that's late breaking news this morning? What's going on? So we've got this article, The Line in the Sand. Republicans issue a blunt warning to Hamas and their terrorist sympathizers. What do you think that is about? There's a lot of stuff in the news that's going on. If it's hard to not pay attention to this, it's out there, but there's a lot going on about the in this country, and it's not just people supporting, saying, "Oh, we're all for humanitarian aid and taking care of the Palestinian people that aren't a part of this, that aren't part of Hamas." But what it goes down into is anti-Semitism is going on. There's a lot of hatred for the Jews sprouting up across our country, and there's a lot of talk about that. And so, what do you think about that? Israel's expanding their ground operations in Gaza, and Netanyahu announces this second stage of the war. The Israeli military is carrying out an expanded ground operation against Hamas terrorists in northern Gaza. And by the way, anybody who says that Israel should back off and leave those poor Palestinians alone and let them have statehood, there is a huge difference between what some of the people are preaching out there and what's going on. If I look at let's see. I got to see if this comes up here, because it was something I saw this morning. Might be right here. Why Israel is not an apartheid state. I think this is important for us to know and to look at. Was it in here? You all know what apartheid. It's a governance by racism. This might not be where I saw it, because I'm not seeing it. It was just a typical American Jewish site. And I'm trying to see where I saw that. It wasn't here. And I wish I could find it. It was on Instagram. And it was labeling the differences in what apartheid is and what Israel is not. And it was talking about how Israel promotes, like the United States, promotes freedom within its borders to its citizens. There are Palestinians who are Israelites, who are now Israelis. There are Palestinians living in Israel that experience every bit of freedom and every bit of equal rights as Jewish Israelis. But the difference is they are citizens of the state, and they are citizens of the state of Israel. It's like if you come into this country on our southern border and you're an immigrant, you don't enjoy the same rights as a citizen of this country. You don't get to vote. You shouldn't be getting aid, although, I think it's okay to set up a little aid to help people a little bit when they first get here if they're coming and they got nothing. But at the same time, Israel, when you hear it in these college campuses, they've been taught for years, they've been programmed to believe certain things. And one of the things is that Israel is an oppressive apartheid state, which is not true. So there is that this morning. So this war is against Hamas. It is not against Gazans. It is not against Palestine as a region. It's not against people who live in Palestine and are not citizens of Israel. It's against Hamas. It's to take out Hamas. And in war, which is an ugly thing, I posted an interesting little article yesterday on my Facebook page that has Kirby, our Department of Defense, hits a reporter with a reality check. And this reporter asked if Biden would apologize for telling the truth about the war in Israel and not believing Hamas. And let me tell you something. I don't support a whole lot about Joe Biden. And I'm going to say, though, as I said in this article, I think at the preamble, I put my own preamble in, and I said Biden got it right when he said things that he was told to say about Israel and about Israel waging war on Hamas. Now, I also said at the end of my little preamble for this article, I said, I'd be proud of Biden, but it's my belief that he makes no decisions, nor has any real moral authority, any strength, or presidential power other than that which he is allowed to have by his handlers. Biden has long passed having any ability to be presidential or to be present in any form of strength as the leader of our country. He is not leading the country. He is a mouthpiece that the Democrats sadly have to have right now. And they won't admit that he can't do the job, obviously. That would look bad on them. And all the criticisms of them for pushing him into power would make them look bad. But in this article, John Kirby, he's the coordinator for the strategic communications at the National Security Council, shut down a reporter on Thursday for asking if President Joe Biden will apologize for not believing Hamas. Can you believe the absolute stupidity of people out there? It's the people on college campuses that are being taught these things. It's the people, it's the news media, it's all of this stuff that are pushing certain agendas out there. And you've even got a reporter that's asking, will the president apologize for saying nasty things about Hamas? Is basically what she was asking. And the reporter asked if Kirby believes the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, is ignoring his message to minimize civilian casualties in Gaza, meaning Biden's message, which is Kirby's message or the administration's message. I don't think Biden has a message for anybody. I don't say that out of cruelty or out of politics. I say it because the man is not a functioning cognitive person. He's cognitive enough to get up there and read a teleprompter for the most part, but he doesn't have the ability to lead. So you don't have a leader saying these things. You have someone who is in the position of the leader being told what to say and what to do. I can't emphasize that enough. And most of us know that already. In response, Biden said he cannot trust the numbers coming from Gaza because they're disseminated by the Gaza Ministry of Health, which Hamas controls. And they are, in effect, terrorist propaganda. All of that's talking about minimizing civilian casualties, the whole bomb strike on the hospital, which was immediately jumped on by Hamas within moments, minutes of that bomb going off in a parking lot in the hospital. They were spreading out the propaganda worldwide that Israel was bombing hospitals and killed 500 people. And Israel looked into that right away, and so have independent sources. And that hospital, in case you don't know it, that hospital was not bombed. The parking lot was hit, and it was hit by a missile that misfired in a barrage of 50 missiles at the same moment. Hamas sent off 40 missiles, toward Israel. And one of them went astray and hit the parking lot. So Hamas jumped on that to create. Hamas operates under, they try to gain public support by lying. And so Biden talked about this, and he said basically the Gaza Ministry of Health is Hamas, and they're liars. And what they say to me is, I have no notion that the Palestinians are telling the truth about how many people are killed. I'm sure innocents have been killed, and it's the price of waging a war. Now, Biden said this. He said, but I have no confidence in the number that the Palestinians are using. Now, is that thoughts from his own head? Maybe. I think he's pretty much told what to say about anything. I don't think he has much concern for it. After that moment, he goes to the beach because he's an old man who's lost touch with his faculties. But what happened with Kirby when he was up giving a news conference? At the White House press briefing, it was Raquel, and I do not know how to pronounce this with all the umlauts in her name, Krahenbuhl of Globo News, asked Kirby if Biden would apologize for his remarks. And the question cited outrage from the Council on American Islamic Relations. That's CARE, by the way, who we were blasting on radio 15 years ago, 12 years ago, something like that. And don't you think it's insensitive? Here's the question. Krochenball asked, don't you think it is insensitive? Okay, number one, if I'm the leader of my country and I'm talking about a war that's going on and allies that we are supporting and the seriousness of war, don't start a question off asking me, aren't you being insensitive if ... It's not about my sensitivity. It's not about feelings, folks. It's about what some of the facts are. You can talk about your feelings after that, but you got to get the facts out. Don't you think it's insensitive? This reporter asked. There is very harsh criticism about it. For example, the Council of American Islamic Relations, CARE, said it was deeply disturbed and called on the president to apologize. Well, let me say right here, I'm not the president, but President Scotty would say, fuck CARE for even asking that question or being worried about the feelings in this or asking me to apologize. I shouldn't have to apologize. Would the president apologize? And does he regret saying something like that? About saying that you cannot trust Hamas. What did the president say again? He said he has no confidence in the numbers given by the Gaza Ministry of Health, which that's the way it's presented in the news media, the Gaza Ministry of Health. It's not the Palestinians and the Gazans. That is Hamas. Kirby made it clear that Biden will not apologize for not believing Hamas or for telling the truth about war. Then Kirby offered the media a really stunning moment of moral clarity. Now, listen to this, folks. Here's what Kirby, just the other day, this is what he said. This was on the 26th. Today's 29th. This was 3 days ago. So this was Thursday. No, was Kirby's response, meaning no to the question, will President Biden apologize for his insensitive remarks about not believing Hamas? Okay, folks, first, get that one straight in your head. You got a reporter asking the president of the United States through Kirby whether or not he would apologize for his remarks about Hamas. All right? Keep that context in mind. And so Kirby goes on and he says, no. He says, what's harsh is the way Hamas is using people as human shields. Everybody listen to this. What's harsh is the way Hamas is using people as human shields. What's harsh is taking a couple of hundred hostages and leaving families anxious, waiting, worrying to figure out where their loved ones are. What's harsh is dropping in on a music festival and slaughtering a bunch of young people who were just trying to enjoy an afternoon. That's what's harsh. And being honest about the fact that there have been civilian casualties and that there likely will be more is being honest, because that's what war is. It's brutal, it's ugly, it's messy. I've said that before, said Kirby. The president also said that yesterday. Doesn't mean we have to like it, and it doesn't mean that we're dismissing any one of those casualties. Each and every one is a tragedy in its own right. And he kept revealing that the U.S. government is helping Israel minimize civilian casualties, but highlighted how Hamas is making that very difficult. Hamas trying to get the world to stand against Israel and to have Israel lighten up and so on. The Hamas would love nothing more than for Israel to lighten up. Hamas is making that very difficult. Kirby went on and said, it would be helpful if Hamas would let Gazan civilians leave the Gaza Strip. We know that there are thousands waiting to leave Gaza in large, and Hamas is preventing them from leaving. That's what's harsh. Do you realize that? Did you know that, folks? That Israel has made an announcement to all people living in Gaza. Get out of Gaza. Get out. Protect yourselves. You know who's guarding the gates? Hamas. They will not let the people leave. Why does Hamas not want the people leaving? They need them there so they have propaganda against Israel, because Israel is not going to relent in its bombing of Hamas. They're telling the citizens to get out, to make it over here, get out, cross the border, go. They're not being allowed to go because Hamas is keeping them there to protect their own asses. That's human shields, folks. And if you look at the conventions of war, like the Geneva Convention, the Oslo Accords, all of this stuff, that is all, believe it or not, there are rules to fighting war. You become war criminals when you do that. So Hamas are not only terrorists who have murdered people in their beds, beheaded babies, killed young people at a music concert, which launched this whole thing. Why should Israel go, okay, we'll step back? No, you're going to take out Hamas to prevent them from doing it again. What are your thoughts on that, folks? Hey, Susie Q. Good to see you. And folks, if you would, like this video, if you're over on YouTube, that helps my numbers over there. I appreciate it. I've got 1 like so far for the show this morning. If you're here and you like the show, go hit the thumbs up for Pete's sake. And thank you. So good morning to those of you who have filtered in since I started my little rant on the news. That was just on the news. That wasn't a topic for this morning. Steph Cuervo Queen, good to see you. Sandra Saunders, good to see you. Elvis is in the building. Good to see you, Elvis. And Randall Flagg is here this morning. Susie Q said hi to you already, but I'll say it again. Carlene is here. Let's see. Who else? What were you saying, Carlene? He was afraid of a private plane. I'm sorry. I'm afraid of a private plane. Who was? Who are we talking about here? Not sure what I missed there. Josh Kemp, good to see you. Steph says, you do know that the Republicans have a bill in Congress stating that all of these colleges that are being funded are supposed to have transparency, so you know where the money is coming from. Yeah. And Matthew says he's showing signs of age concerning that heavy job. Matthew, if you're talking about Joe Biden, he's not showing signs of age because the job is tough. He's showing signs of age because he's growing old and he has dementia. He's going senile, we used to call that. He has cognitive disorder. He should not be in the position he's in. You can't be a White House staffer or an intern and be mentally what's the word I'm looking for? And be not cognitive mentally. You can't get a job as a staffer. Why should you be the president and the leader of the country? Uncle John is here. Let's bring Uncle John in. How you doing, Uncle John?
Good morning.
Good morning to you. How's your coffee this morning?
I didn't get a chance to make any. I just finished a grocery run.
Oh, well, a what run?
Grocery.
Oh, grocery run. I thought you said a nursery run at first, and I thought,
no.
What's going on over there? So what are your thoughts on any of this? What do you think?
That's a tough one. Nobody's going to intercede.
Nope.
And it's very difficult unless he just up and decides he can't do it. That's not going to happen.
It's not because he's not cognitive. He believes he's doing a good job. I'll bet you anything. Joe Biden has no clue that he's not doing a good job. I'll bet you he believes, and he's being made to believe, that things are okay. Let's say, look at it this way. If there's somebody that you know or a member of your family that has a cognitive disorder as they get older, do we tell them every day, you have a cognitive disorder, you are making bad decisions? No, because they don't realize that you're there to help them. And so you're like, hey, things are good. It's good. Hey, the air conditioning's on because it's hot outside. Things are good. You're good. TV's working. Yep, there's food. You're good. We do things to make them feel better. I think Joe Biden is not being handled by his handlers, just being handled by his handlers. I think his handlers, and part of handling him, have him living in the dark. I don't think he has any idea what the U.S. thinks of him. I don't think he has any idea that 67% of Democrats don't want him in office anymore. I don't think he realizes that. But you know what a bad thing is? You got that same 67% of Democrats who don't like Trump, who that if Trump is the only one running against Biden, they'll vote for Biden before they vote for Trump because they know they'll get more of what's going on. So that's crazy weird too.
Yep.
So we got Carlene. Carlene's got an opinion on this. What's your opinion, Carlene?
My opinion is a joke. They had to scramble the fighter jets because a private plane flew near Biden's house yesterday. That's what I was saying. Excuse my hair. It's a disaster.
That's all right.
But they had to scramble the jets because the plane flew near his house.
Oh, see, now I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
So what is this? Some Hamas supporter going to fly a plane into Biden's beach home? I mean,
who the hell knows?
And what are they thinking? Even if that's what's going on, what are they thinking? They're like, we're going to take out the guy who doesn't know how to think anyway.
I don't think they'd be going after him.
Probably not.
I mean, it's ridiculous. It's just the more news you watch, the funnier it gets. We were up the car show and watching this shit roll in out. Oh, they had to scramble the fighter jets. Okay, we just spent how many millions of dollars because a plane flew near his airspace?
Yeah. Oh, Morgan Snow just brought up there's a request for War Powers Act that a 90-day export hold on all weapons leaving our country.
Jeez.
So I saw that in the news just briefly yesterday.
And I didn't get you the message in time. I mean, I realize we're not talking about that, but I don't know if you want me to say who, but I'm guessing most people saw the post yesterday.
Which message? I might not have
I
seen.
just sent you one. It was about, you had got online for, you saw it, about asking for hugs and prayers and love for one of our radio family.
No, I didn't see that. Who? Oh, are you talking about Wendy?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I didn't know how much she'd want me put out there, but she could really use a lot of hugs.
She's put it all over her social media. Her dog died, as we all know, and Wendy loves her dog just like everybody else loves their dogs. Just on the personal side, and Wendy and I have talked about this on air before. She was never able to have kids. She doesn't have any children. She's got her dog for 10 plus years.
Yeah, he just turned 11.
It just turned 11.
Yep.
She's
Not
had this
bad
dog
for
for
a
over a decade.
Yep.
And there is a side of this that says a pet died, and many of us have had pets die. Pets have a much shorter lifespan than we do.
Yep.
And so we hear a lot more about the loss of pets. That doesn't de-intensify the loss for Wendy. And she's just heartbroken, and she loved this dog. She took care of this dog. I think, and aside from anything I would say to Wendy, I think there's going to be a point where, while she will always love this dog, Henry, and always miss him, that's never going to end. There's going to be a period after this grieving starts to subside where there's a relief. I think there's a bit of a relief that I did everything I could, and I spent more money than I had. I begged, borrowed, and stealed from my dog, and he still passed away. And the pain and the heart rending of that may never go away. It will soften a bit, but there will be a relief after a while. It's so she's going through the thick of it right now, and I have not spoken to her. I was going to call her yesterday, and I didn't, only because I thought, I know Wendy, and I know it well. I know her well enough. She will talk to the people she loves, but at the same time, she's, I think, barraged with people calling her and messaging her. And I was going to wait a day or two and give her a call. Calling somebody when they're in the thick and the fresh of it, and they don't want to talk to anybody, really. So
it's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. So yeah.
But
we said, keep Wendy in your thoughts and prayers. We don't have to pray for Henry. Henry's where he's supposed to be right now. And no matter what you believe about where a dog goes after it dies, where does that spirit go? I believe some specific things about that, even biblically. So Henry doesn't need prayer. Doesn't need our hearts are thinking about him. His time is done, and he's where he's supposed to be. My thoughts go out to Wendy.
Yeah.
And and Ken Ballos is here. Ken says the same thing. Our hearts go out to Wendy. It's a sad thing.
It is. It's rough.
I've lost pets before that were dear to me, and it's a sad thing. So, and I don't try to compare it to grief for anybody or anything. Grief is grief. So I get that, and I understand that. So everybody keep Wendy in your thoughts this morning. That's
it's a tough thing.
It is. I saw the post, and we were at the car show, and I shared it with Ken and a couple other people. And it's just, you couldn't keep a dry eye. It was, it was something that, we all kind of knew was going to happen, but it's still in time. It's sad. And like I said, I wish we could bridge the 44 or 5,000 mile gap so we could all give her a giant hug and make her feel better. Be nice. But the best we can do is think about her, and
yes,
she'll reach out when the time is right.
That's right. And yeah, I'll be talking to her if she's listening to this morning by any chance. This morning, Wendy, afternoon over there. I'll get a hold of you soon. And I just didn't.
Sorry, I get a little misty-eyed, even though it's an animal and a person I never knew other than on Facebook. It's really a rough thing to go through.
Sure, and we feel that way for Wendy.
Yeah.
As I said when Uncle Dave passed, I said we aren't grieving for Uncle Dave.
Yeah.
We're grieving for ourselves and our loss. And because Dave's where he's supposed to be. And as he said to Sam in a dream, he says, fair winds are blowing for a blessed voyage. And Dave is fine. It's us that we grieve for. We grieve because of what happens to us. And I always go back to the Apostle Paul. While I have problems with Paul and the hijacking of Christianity and all of that type of stuff in that category, he still was an incredible philosopher. And he said of people who lose loved ones, he said, we sorrow not as they who have no hope. And you know, that's the way I felt about I feel about Uncle Dave and others that I've lost in life. It's sometimes people think that it's a bad extrapolation to try to push that over into losing pets, because we think theologically they have a different soul and spirit makeup. But I also think that God, having created them, loves them.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to, in my imagination, I don't have any theology to back this up. I would like to think the throne of God is surrounded by birds and animals and dogs and cats. And what's an eternal litter box looks like? The litter box in eternity don't stink the whole place up.
There you go. There you go.
So, but I think God surrounds himself with his creatures. The creator.
I can't imagine he doesn't. I mean, animals are innocent. They're pure. They're that's probably not the right word, but I mean, you know, they harm nothing.
They probably recognize in their understanding, their spirit understanding, who God is. They don't question God. They don't have a free will, so they can rebel against God. I don't think any animals ever rebelled against God. So, but that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole theological treatise there. If I was going to get my doctorate in theology, my thesis would focus on animals. Where do animals go when they die? So, and you know, Wendy there will be a day, I believe, she'll see Henry again. But Wendy has lost other pets in her life. She's got those pets she'll see too.
Yeah.
The thing about Henry is it's raw because it's right now.
It's new, yep.
And so, and we don't want to already talk about how things will pass, but we do know that the rawness of it will pass, and she'll be able to move on with that. But so just keep Wendy in your thoughts and your prayers. Send her some good vibes.
Yeah, she definitely needs them right now. Like I said, it's been a rough enough year for her, and on top of that, compounded it.
Yes,
I wouldn't want to be in her shoes. I've had loss this year, and it's tough. But you know, I haven't had to. You know, it's loss just really stinks.
Sure. Well, Steph says, well, Wendy, speaking of Wendy, should feel fulfilled that she had a dog that experienced love, true love, and that special bond. Her dog was lucky that he got to experience what love truly is because of Wendy.
Yep.
And he showed her love back, and to be able to have those memories are absolutely amazing and comforting. Very true.
As you said, after the sorry, my choice of word, newness wears off of what happened, she'll come to terms with it. But I can't even imagine what she's going through now. My heart breaks for her.
Yeah, it's the emptiness.
Yep.
It's to go back to that. It's again, I hate to equate it. I'm not saying it's like living with your spouse for 40, 50 years and going home and they're suddenly not there anymore.
Well, I think to somebody who had that experience and he was her heart and soul. I think it's a lot. I think it's a lot similar because a lot of us, we have pets and they're not pets. They're family. They're not pets.
You'll never find me equating a pet to a human. I think we can have the same passions for our pets. We can have the same love for our pets. When they pass, we can have the same grief for them. But if I lost my wife versus losing my pug mini English bulldog, I think my heart would be a lot more broken over my wife. So I don't want to compare those two. You can say that everybody has
fair enough.
Love for their pet. Love is love. Passion is passion.
True. Fair enough.
So, but I think it's a little different thing, and it's a different kind of love, and you still store it in your heart. So, anyway, there you go. Steph says, "Hell, Scotty, I can honestly say I love animals more than I love some people." Seriously.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Steph. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'd take an animal over a lot of people I've had to deal with.
I love Lucy Fur more than I love some people too. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So, but compared to if a kid died versus your pet dying.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, you can't compare.
I have a rougher time if one of my children passed than if my dog passed. Now, Wendy's in a different situation. Doesn't have kids.
She didn't have. Yeah. I think that was my point. She doesn't have the kids. She has family, but I don't know how long she's been on her own, but all she's had to rely on is Henry. And
Wendy's been on her own almost the whole time I've known her. Yeah. She's had boyfriends, but she's been on her own. And
so all of Henry's days were. That was her constant companion versus a human companion.
Right. Grumpy Stack says no one can love anything more than they love Grumpy. Oh, so true, Grumpy. I read something the other day, says Randall Flagg. Your pet is your best friend for a little while, but you are their best friend for their whole life.
Yeah.
That. I think that's something that Wendy gave to Henry. She was the focal point of his life, his entire life.
Yeah.
And she had him for 11 years. And so, yeah.
When my sister-in-law died, we got their cat because my brother-in-law was going to put it down so he wouldn't be bothered. And the cat never liked him either.
There you go.
And so my niece was distraught over that. And Shelley was trying to ask me, could we take the cat? I said, don't even ask. I said, we'll take the cat. Nobody's putting down a healthy animal, for convenience. I'm not going to put up with that.
Right.
Well, the cat didn't care a whole lot for me, I think, because she equated me with my brother-in-law. And she would go down in the basement all day if I was home. And exactly 5 minutes before my wife would get off work, the cat would come upstairs and sit down facing the front door, waiting for her to come in. I don't know if he had a digital or an analog, but he knew when she was coming home almost to the minute.
Yeah,
And
they know it's
there's
odd
a
how they
special
do, but
bond with animals and humans. And I don't know what it is. I grew up without pets till we got a house and the kids were dancing in the front yard. And I said, "You're happy to have a house?" I said, "Now we can have a pet." Because I said we couldn't when we lived in an apartment. And my wife looked at me and smiled. And I said, "I've already lost this one, haven't I?"
Yep.
Yeah. No, they know animals know. Like I said, I've
like 20 to 1.
Yeah, I've got my cats, and they know if I'm not feeling well. I mean, with this move, I've been pushing my body a little harder than I should, and I got one particularly that I'll be pushing, and I know in my own mind I should be sitting down, and that cat will come and run under my feet and knock at me until, okay, you're gonna go sit down or else.
Shelley was,
or she wants food. You know.
Oh no,
Shelley was over here helping us with Mom for a good long time the other day. She got home, let the dogs out for an hour to let them run.
Let the dogs out. Who?
And
sorry, Uncle
when
John.
she let them in, they walked over to the corner of the carpet in the front room, and both of them peed. They'd had a whole hour outside, but they were still mad.
Yeah, my cat, Bob Saget.
Bob just to let you know we're thinking of you too.
My feet and rub up against me only when he wants something from me, and it's usually food. He's trying to butter me up.
Well,
he's trying to get my attention to feed him. And I've never seen him come over to me and rub up against my feet to make sure I didn't trip over the. Don't go that way, Dad. You'll trip on that rug that's all pushed up. And he doesn't do that.
I don't know. I think he knows you're not his. He's not your favorite.
Up against you when they want something. They're begging.
No. This is different. My mind when this one wants something. Let me tell you, she's very vocal. If I'm in the kitchen, she wants her food. She'll tell you she wants her food. This is different. Like I said, I'll go sit down and she'll plank herself right in my lap, like you're not moving for a while.
What is that, Lassie? What's up? What? The road's out up ahead? I need to not drive that direction.
I forgot that movie.
Sorry, dogs and cats. Maybe they have a sense of things.
They do.
And I'm not cold-hearted when it comes to dogs and cats and pets at all. It's like I've done with politics. There's a side of me that says I can feel one thing and I can know another thing.
Yeah.
Many times we don't want to put what we know with what we feel. We want our feel to override what we know. So I look at pets. Can a dog sense danger? Can he sense that somebody's in the house that shouldn't be? Yeah. Will a dog be protective if somebody wants to attack me? Yeah. I don't know if Lucy would. We've never had to put her to the test. Lucy is so smart, she will chase after a mail truck. It's like, why are you doing that? Do you think you're going to bite it and put it down? She got run over by a car once 5-6 years ago, and it almost killed her. And does she still chase cars? Yeah.
Yep.
She did not learn her lesson. So she might think she's going to take down that truck, but when it comes down to it, my dog is kind of dumb. My dog is like, you can be eating. And we fed her good food. We get her good food. And our dog can be eating away, and we'll go and we'll sit down. Maybe we'll go have bowl of soup or a bowl of chili or a sandwich or something and watch a movie sitting out in the living room. That dog, I will see. Sometimes I'm on this sofa. Rainey's on this end of the sofa with the chaise that comes out of it, the chaise lounge. Sometimes she's on the other sofa with the chaise lounge and sitting over there. And the dog will come right up onto the chaise, and she sits. And if this were the food, this microphone, she'll sit there like this.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Rainy. Look at the food. And like Rainy. And Rainy's just not, Rainy's oblivious, not paying attention. If Rainy turned her head to talk to somebody, that dog would steal her food. As much as that dog loves her and cares about her, she would steal my wife's food.
Yeah.
And that's not done out of love. That's because a dog doesn't think rationally. A dog thinks instinctually. Oh, there's food there? The pack, I got to fight for my food in the pack. Evolutionarily speaking, I got to fight for my food against the pack. Well, Lucy hasn't been part of a pack since she was 8 weeks old. And she's now six or seven. And we're recognize that too. We just had to have her teeth fixed. And her 7th birthday was coming up in December, I think, is her 7th birthday. Somewhere in there she was born. They're saying it's going to cost about $600.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy.
To have her teeth worked on until her birthday comes. When she turns 7, that's going to jump about $300 or $400 because we have to do different things for a dog her age. And I said, well, we better get her in before December then, huh? And which we did.
Yeah.
And tell me that ain't an expense. We've got health insurance, but it doesn't cover our dog. So if our dog needs teeth removed or something fixed or she's sick, that comes out of your pocket, which I know Wendy has experienced and many of us experience. I suppose you can buy dog health insurance.
You can to a certain point.
Yeah, up to a certain point. But
you should have heard my father when he found out we have health insurance on the dogs.
Oh. What did your dad have to say?
Well, he wasn't much into the fact that it was a known loss instead of a surprise crisis financially, you know.
Right.
But we felt it was a way for us to take better care of the animals because we could deal with it when they needed it and not have to go, well, we'll have to wait till next paycheck. And
right.
Yeah.
So anyway, talking about pets, their love for us, yeah, they love us. They love us unconditionally, but they'll also steal our food if we're not looking.
I lost a ribeye.
We had bacon night before last, and I had a bed full of cats. They're like, "Oh, bacon!"
Yeah,
bacon.
And, yeah, they want your food.
Yeah.
So when my cat rubs up against my legs, I push her away. I go him away. I go stop because number one, I don't like the static it builds up in my pant leg, and my pants stick to my legs, and then I get fur all over my pants. Well, you know, you're a pet lover, so you love that. Oh, that's just too bad, isn't it, Scotty? Yeah, but I know why she's doing it. I understand her instinctual motive. Her instinctual motive is she's not going, oh, I love my dad so much. Oh, let me just rub against his ankles. No, she's doing that because she wants me to give her food. She's begging.
Well, like I said, I would say that with this one, but this one is very vocal when I'm in the kitchen and she wants food. She will let you know.
Yeah.
She won't come rub up against you. She'll sit there and look at you and holler, and it's like, will you shut up?
Right. Well, the cat does the same thing. Every time now they get fed down here over in the main room over on that side of the downstairs here. And we've got a litter box down there. We've also got they've each got their own litter box, by the way. Too. So there's 2 litter boxes down there. And there's also a section over there where we put their food down. Now, every freaking time I go down the stairs from upstairs, Bob Saget's got to be under my feet. He runs down ahead of me and then looks back like, you're going to feed me, right? And I turn the other direction to come in here. And he's like, what? What is your problem? Why aren't you feeding me more? He's conditioned to understand that when I go down the stairs, he gets fed. So every time I go down the stairs, he's under my feet because he wants me to feed him again. It's like, how much food do you think you need? Dogs don't think that way. Cats don't think that way. My dog can just eat a whole dish of her own food and be happily doing it because we put the special additive on top and make that little tiny bit of gravy in there. And she's like, oh my God, she's in dog heaven. She's eating that food. And we sit down with a sandwich, or Raini will sit down. Sometimes Raini gets a couple of pieces of lunch meat and some cheese, and she'll sit down and watch a movie. And that dog is right there. That dog would steal it from her if she wasn't looking. That dog's begging for it. That dog always thinks it's hungry because instinctually and evolutionarily speaking, they're scroungers. They always scrounge for food. And so the cat comes down, always thinking it's hungry, always ready to have me feed him. And sometimes he looks at me because I don't give him the food he wants. We've got, wet cat pate food in a can, and then we've got the crunchy hard food. We buy this food because Oscar's old. That's for his digestion. Because many times we found when the other cat came into the house, he would hork his food down, and it was regular old food. And then middle of the night, we'd step and vomit all over, usually the carpet. They got to vomit in the carpet because I don't know if it feel more like grass or what. We got all this wood floor. We got all this linoleum in the kitchen.
They always hit the
carpet.
Go
puke up on the rug.
Yep.
It's like, what the fuck, cat? Pardon the French. And so we got him food for his stomach for digestion. The little cat likes it too. But they've gotten used to each other now. They eat side by side. And he's quiet. I go down to feed them. He knows it's feeding time. I wake up in the morning. I go upstairs and make coffee. I turn around. Those cats are both sitting there just staring at me. The little one, Bob Saget, rubbing up against my ankles. I push him away. Stop rubbing on my ankles. I'll feed you when I get back downstairs. I talk to him as if they understand me. And,
maybe they do.
And so I go downstairs. Oscar, he's an old man. He's 16 to 18, somewhere in that range. And he just looks at you and he's like, I'm here. I know you'll feed me. I'm good. And then I go over to feed them. He comes down and he sits next to his bowl. He's like, he looks up at me, his golden eyes. He's like, about time. I'm hungry. Let's go. Let's go. And he just sits and he watches and waits. Bob Saget, on the other hand, is a fucking spaz. Whenever I go to feed him, he's bouncing off the walls. He's clawing the wood shelving. It's just 2x4 shelving down there, clawing on it. Going, no, feed me. Oh, woe is me. I'm gonna die if I don't eat in the next 30 seconds. And then he jumps down, and then he tries to jump into the stuff I'm working on, and I push him away. I go, stop. I'm not going to feed you if you're going to keep doing that. And I've only said that for a year. And he just spastic, bouncing off the walls. And it's like, dude, it's the same food you got yesterday. It's nothing special. He killed a squirrel in the front yard the other day. Left it on the front step for us. Hey, here you go. Here you go. You think I'm not worth anything? I have just killed a squirrel for you. It's like, damn it, don't kill the squirrels. And well, anyway, all that to say, he's by nature, he's spastic and mental as hell. And especially at feeding time. It's like, dude, I look down at him. I go, dude, you got to chill a little bit. What are the chicks going to think? So, and he's like, chicks. If there's chicks, I can eat them. He killed 2 of our chickens when they were chicks. Now we've got 1 chicken left, too big. That chicken's just, like a beach ball size. Out there. Bark, 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 bark. And cat goes out there, and the chicken's like, bark, bark. Yeah, like, yeah, you just come near me, I will peck your eyes out, you little. And so they get along fine. Steph says her cat Moocher is a half Maine Coon. He's half raccoon.
Yeah, and that's what this one is. She's part Maine Coon.
Yeah. Oscar will yell at me, Yep. So when I know he's hungry, I think it's all centered around hunger. I can be laying in bed, and Oscar's old and arthritic, and he's huge. He's 20 to 30 pounds in that range.
Wow.
He's been a massive cat. And when he hops on the bed, you know it. I mean, I could be sound asleep. You're sleeping and you go, it's because the cat hopped on the bed, and it's like, oh God, it's Oscar. And he comes over and he sits.
He stares at you. Yep.
Wow. I'm like, what? Wow. I'm like, what? Wow. He talks to me. And I'm like, dude, I'll feed you later. It's 5:30 in the morning. I'll feed you when I get up. And he's like, wow, I'm hungry now. And, and so then I pet him. And then he'll start purring and he'll lay down and he's fine. But I don't think he hops on the bed. I don't think he yells at me because he wants to be pet. Because cats aren't that way. Cats are pretty much, you all can fuck off and leave me alone. I'll come.
Cats want to be petted when they want to be petted, and that's it.
Yep, pretty much that's it. So
if they ever do a cat movie, they gotta hire you, Scotty, to do one of the voices of the cat, the psycho little cat.
Cat voice. Yeah, I got to tell you, so the whole thing. I know we've gotten a little. You can get a little frivolous with it, but cats, pets, dogs. Dogs are just like cats, are just dumber. Oh. And, they're like, who owns me today? And when it comes to food and stuff like that. So,
now, Scotty, do you think that that dogs and cats can sense when somebody's going to pass away?
I don't know. I have not researched that at all.
No.
So I could not.
So without researching it, what are your thoughts on that? I know I just put you on the spot.
That is not really on the spot. I got to think about that for a second and say, if cats can see things, cats and dogs can see things that people don't see. We don't know that. We assume that because of the way they act sometimes. In paranormal research, it's been found that cats and dogs will react to things, and you pick things up on equipment, but we don't see it. So, do they sense you're going to die? I think it's like flies. They say that somebody who is nearing death, the body chemistry is changing, and if they're nearing death, they will attract more flies. Is that because flies have this great, keen spiritual sense that somebody's going to die?
It's a smell.
Probably not. They sense the chemical change.
Chemical, it's a smell.
Sense that same chemical change, but they live with you. They love you in such a way. Love is love a cognitive thing, or is love a thing that happens whether you're doing it or not? If you have no rationale, is there love? Does the dog love you? Do we mistake the love of pets because our pets are used to us and know where they get fed and pet? So that same question, I'm just asking questions.
Yep.
So does a cat or a dog recognize that we're going to die and they get closer to us? They might. And why do they get closer to us? Is that because they love us? Is that because they have affection for us and they sense we're going to die? Do they sense the chemical reactions in our bodies? And because of that, do they, because they sense that chemical reaction, do they know we're going to die? So that's the root of your question. And so we have to ask ourselves, does my cat know when I'm going to die? And does he show me affection, or is he waiting for me to die so he's the first one that can eat me? Above the rest of the same with the dog. They come and cuddle with you because they're like, and they growl at anybody else that comes by because they go like, no, this is my meat. I don't know.
I'm sorry. Just the way you said that, it's like, okay.
Dogs read Heinlein.
And yes. So I don't know what they think. Do they sense
I was just curious. That's all.
I think maybe they can sense we're going to die.
I think you're right. I think it's a chemical reaction that happens in our body, and it changes our scent, and it's something that they're in tune to.
Does a dog have emotions, or does a dog have instinct and feelings? Emotion we generally ascribe to sentience. Is a dog sentient? Is he self-aware? Those are big questions we really don't always know how to answer those questions. I would think there's a part of me that says, yeah, my dog is going to care when I die. But like Lucy, she's going to care when I die? Nah, she's mom's dog. She's Raini's dog. She'll probably, I can tell you what, Raini can be gone for a half a day, and Lucy mopes. She mopes. She lays on the sofa looking out the window. It's like in her pug way. And looking out the window, waiting for mom. She's like, hey, you want to eat? Yeah, I'll eat. Yeah. I'm waiting for mom. So she's got something. She cares about Raini. And she knows where love comes from. She cares about me. Whenever I walk in the door, she will jump up with her front legs on my until I give her a kiss on the head. And then she's fine. That little stump of a tail just go. Hi. You gonna bring Bob Saget over? Rowan is down here, and she's got Bob Saget. Let's get Bob Saget on the screen here.
Oh, there's a little kitty. Oh, he's grown. You showed us him.
There he is.
Oops. Long time back when he was just a little one.
There's Bob Saget. Bob Saget. See, Bob Saget. I give him a kiss on the head, but he's dumb. He's a dumb cat. Come here. But something we did with him since he was a baby, just hold him this way. I always held him on his back because I never wanted him to have a problem with us holding him on his back. Right? What you doing? Huh?
No, now look at that, love. And you were picking on him earlier.
I hate cats. Especially
we could tell.
Yeah, I don't like my cat. You get out of here now.
Can we get another cat?
No, we cannot.
I want a full black cat.
We got a full black cat. It's Oscar.
I know, but Oscar's
when Oscar passes away into that happy rainbow bridge that he'll cross, and he dies, and he's in eternity with God, then we'll get another cat. Okay.
You know how you get another cat? You say, Dad, it followed me home.
Oh yeah.
I think you've got the beginnings of another platinum book there.
Oh yeah, probably. Oh, you think so? I was just going to show you something here. Here, I'm going to put a piece of art up on the. Let me drop this banner off the bottom. There was something my agent had wanted me to think about doing. All right, why is this doing that?
I'll knock it off and help you. He's showing us a picture or something.
Yeah, I need to get a new phone soon.
Okay, my mouse is not working on there. Why?
is working.
Yeah, that's not a topic for right here, though. Look at that. My mouse is not clicking on anything. It's not opening
And
anything.
it won't be because of anything I've done.
Oh, I didn't say it was anything you did.
Because after my phone's battery stuff is at 76, and when it gets under 50, then you're supposed to get a new phone.
Oh, okay. You have to get a new phone because your battery's low.
Not that kind of battery. Like the battery.
You just got that phone.
I know, but it's been used.
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, like
It was a used phone.
no, I mean like the battery, like the battery.
Oh, the battery. You're talking about getting a new battery for your phone.
No, I'm talking about getting a new phone after not like the battery. But like something in the back. It's like battery.
Yeah, say hi.
Something.
See, I already got a piece of cat hair in my mouth.
Say hi.
It's like the battery.
Say hi, T.
But after it gets under 50, you're supposed
TT. Say hi.
I see.
No,
Okay.
I don't want to say hi.
All right. Well, one of these days,
She says I don't want to say hi.
we'll ride it out until it dies. Then we'll get you a new phone.
I want a $229 phone.
You want a $229 phone?
Yeah.
You better start saving your money.
No, you save your money.
There's
Well,
a
she
great
could have asked
$39
she
phone
could
over
have
at
asked you
Walmart.
for.
Right now, I could get you.
I was going to say she could have asked you for a new Android that's about $1,500.
Yeah. I don't have a $1,500 phone. So, here.
You
I'll
wouldn't
show
have
this.
to have one of those old shoebox phones in a closet somewhere.
My agent, Italia, asked me, this is a couple of years old, if I could do something with a cat, create a cat character. There's a book she wanted to try to, and we never did pursue it. But I used Oscar as my model, and this is the we called him
Oh, it's adorable.
Oscar Dublanc, pub cat.
That's adorable.
And so, and it's down in the Louisiana, Nolans.
Nolan.
And,
during Mardi Gras.
Yeah, something like that. And so we didn't really develop much with it, but that was you talk, Uncle John, about a new little platinum book. Oscar the Pub Cat was going to be something like that. So Oscar Dublanc, and that's actually our cat's name, Oscar, Oskar Dublanc, which means white, but he's a black cat. Blanc.
That's cool.
White.
I love
if we were
the
to call him
drawing.
black, it'd be Oscar du Negre. we chose to go Oscar Dublanc.
Oscar Dublanc.
Oscar the White.
Oscar the White, but he's a black cat.
Mm-hmm. So
interesting.
There he is. Yeah, Jack Russells are hard-headed. That's the truth.
Oh, Jack Russells, yes. And rat terriers. They're all related.
Yep. They're jumpy little dogs. Beth Kirkham, welcome. She says there are many peer-reviewed animal studies to read if it's a topic you're interested in. Oh, on what exactly? So do elephants. Elephants have affection. Yes. I've seen that. Beth says dogs have both emotions and instinct. Oh, I believe that. I'm playing devil's advocate with a lot of this. I'm asking questions. I believe my dog has emotions. I think my cat has emotions.
Yes, I hear you.
I'm glad my cat has emotions because I like hurting his feelings.
Come say hi.
When
where are you? There you are. No.
When the cat pisses in the laundry because somebody shut the door so he couldn't get to his litter box and we're all gone for the afternoon, and the cat pisses in the laundry, I get mad at my cat. And I'm glad he has feelings because then I can hurt them. I say hurtful things to my cat.
But is it the cat's fault that the door got shut?
Nope, but it's his fault for pissing in the laundry.
Well, where did you want him to pee?
You know what? If he gets shut, you know what? I don't go pissing in the laundry when somebody's in the bathroom and I'm locked out. You know why? I have reason. I have rationale. So
we won't touch that with a 10-foot pole, but okay.
because a cat or a dog
Oh no,
has
no,
no reason or
I'm thinking
rationale.
you've never
for pitching
gone
your
gone
laundry.
anywhere to go to the bathroom that was not a bathroom when somebody was in the bathroom because you had to go so bad you thought your bladder was going to explode.
Yep, I've been there. I've been
Okay.
there. And keep in mind, I'm not 20 years old anymore. So when my bladder tells me it's time to pee, I'm usually getting the 30-second warning.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I know what that's
it's
like.
And of course, in this household, you never know when both bathrooms are going to be occupied.
No.
I've gone outside and pissed by the tree in the backyard because all the bathrooms are not going to be in the sink.
Oh no, that's gross.
What's the alternative?
Yeah,
Find a Gatorade.
This must have been in warmer months.
What's that?
Must have been in warmer months.
Yes.
Otherwise, why waste a perfectly good floor drain?
Oh, here it is. Yeah, aircraft that crept too close to Biden. That just came across news break.
Oh, good. I'll have to look that up. I'm sure they radioed that plane or tried to find out who it was, followed it in.
Yeah, they scrambled fighter jets, and it probably was just an error. I mean, like you're going to take a little dinky private plane and try and get after the president. Sure,
well,
there have been a couple of instances of that.
Do you know when you're flying over a residential area? Do you know that's the president's beach house? Do you know that when you're up in the plane? What if you are totally oblivious? Or is that part of it? Any pilots here? Do we know where there are no-fly zone? Is there a no-fly zone?
Oh, yes, there are. And in Washington, they're full of them.
Yeah.
So I just wondered if, one of Biden's $3 million beach home. It's funny how he got that.
Yeah, I mean, they say it's a no-fly zone. I'm guessing it's a no-fly zone when he's there, but,
I'm cash for that house, too,
Does that surprise you? Where'd that money come from?
That's one of the big questions being asked right now.
I bet we can guess it. It starts with a C.
Elvis says, "What about the missile the USA shot down in the Red Sea? What about it?
What?
What are you thinking, Elvis? What was my opinion on that? If you're asking what I think about the U.S. shooting it down, that's why the U.S. is there. They're there. If there's missiles heading to our ally, we'll shoot them down."
Yeah, they shot down 5 that were shot down 5 the other day that were headed for Hamas sent them off.
Right.
They shot them down, and people were like, "Oh, you shot their missiles down." Well, what do you expect? Do you expect them to land somewhere and kill people? Come on.
Steph corrected me. Biden has 2 beach houses that he paid cash for that are in the millions of dollars. Wow.
And we know who paid for that. The country starts with a C, and it ain't Canada.
Right. And without getting into it, we all know where that stuff came from. Even those who want to deny it, they all know. They all know.
Well, guys, I wanted to pop on and say that. Like I said,
Here, I can take
Wendy. If you're listening, we're thinking of you. You're in our thoughts, our prayers. We're
absolutely
sending you virtual hugs and love, and we're all here if you need something. You reach out when the time is right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I'll reach out to her too. I just didn't want to give her a day or so.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've all commented on her post, but I'm sure I don't know that she's listening in the background. I said she needs to know people are here for her, and like I said, if we could make that 4,000 some odd miles disappear that quick, we'd all embrace her in giant hugs.
And if I had won the lottery, that's one of the injustices of life. If I'd won the Powerball that was worth $1.5 billion a couple of weeks ago, I'd pay for us all to have an airline trip. We'd all fly first class too.
Oh, there you go. Well, hey, I should probably look up my relatives that are out in California. Because really, really, lo and behold, they live out in California.
I don't know how you can live in California anymore.
They used to live in Los Angeles, and last I knew, they moved up into the mountains up in Northern California. So I'm not it's been years, so I don't know that they even still live there. But nice to think that, oh, hey, maybe a relative did win the money.
Right. Yeah, Morgan Snow asks, if Turkey enters the conflict, how does this go with them being a NATO country?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting questions.
It's going to be. Okay, you guys all have a good day. I got a husband. We're still unpacking and trying to sort through this disaster.
We'll be doing that for 6 months.
Oh, tell me, but not if I have my way about it.
Well, it went around here anyway. We still got some boxes that aren't.
I'm sure we would. We got one room we want to empty today to get the 2 pieces of furniture that belong in there, so I could actually find my dining room, because I've found my kitchen now. Now I'm going to find my dining room and get the dresser drawers out of the living room.
Well, you have fun with that.
Oh, yeah. Bye.
Bye. See ya.
Bye.
All right. Okay. So anybody got any more thoughts on pets? What do you think about pets? What do you think about what they do? I want to take a little break here and go pour myself a little more coffee. So what are we going to do for that break? I don't want to just put Uncle John on the spot and make him talk. Do I have anything in here that can play for long enough? Nah, most of my little clips are a minute long. When I do the in-between the show and the captain's cabin during the week, I'm sitting right here and I'm clicking off each clip. I haven't built one long clip for that. So I'm curious, what can we put up?
You need another coffee maker just off to one side.
Yeah, I should just bring it down here. So anyway, so it's going down here in the morning. Let's see. Here, this is 3.5 minutes. And they gave me a copyright hit on this on YouTube because it's a YouTube video. But right at the end of the video, it says, everyone is welcome to share this. It's that taking of the Exodus theme music song. And This Land Is Mine. Let's play this. It's 3.5 minutes long. So watch this and enjoy it. I'll be right back after I go fill up my coffee. 3.5 minutes. Here we go, folks.
This land is mine. God gave this land to me. This brave and ancient land to me. And when the morning sun reveals her hills and plains, then I see a land where children can run free. So take my hand and walk this land with me, and walk this lovely land with me. Though I'm just a man, when you are by my side, with the hand of God, I know I can be strong. Just a man, when you
There we go. That was perfect timing. So, what's that, Roger Rabbit? Wow, this is a great depiction of the incessant need for man to kill to advance. Why are we such a small-minded creatures? Humans truly suck. Yeah, you got that. Of course, this land has been fought over since the very beginning. And we know that. There's that. And the creator of that video actually put out a description of what each and every character in that represented. It's actual history of that land, the land of Canaan, which in the 20th century became known as Palestine. It was called Palestine by the Romans, I should say, before that. And so every character in there represented an actual piece of history of that land. But what do you do when part of that land becomes a nation? When Israel was there as a nation 3,000 years ago, did they have a right to defend their land? When they're there as a nation now, do they have a right to defend their nation and their people and their citizenry? There's what's different about just fighting over a plot of land. But there it is. And Ryan Gale, you're right. It's a well-made video. Like the art style in it and everything from a creative standpoint. Randall Flagg is eating an Irish breakfast. That would be Guinness and bacon. And beans. Guinness, bacon, and baked beans. So, I'd never had baked beans for breakfast before I did bed and breakfasts in England and Scotland. They all served us, what did we have? Two things that I wasn't used to having in breakfast. Sliced tomatoes, fried up, and baked beans with eggs. And now I love that. I think it's a neat.
By the way, I texted you a recipe for baked beans, or a link to YouTube for baked beans and cornbread.
Yes, there it is, Ryan. Guinness and a cigarette. That's is that Irish breakfast? Yeah. I've had many breakfasts like that. I kind of miss smoking right now because I would love to go out and have a Guinness and a beer for breakfast. Well, even a Guinness and a cup of coffee was fine too. So Roger Rabbit says, very cool way to tell a lot of history in a short form. It is. That type of video would do well today with the shortened attention spans of kids. Yeah, it would. And that's been played many times. And yeah, it's a blood trenched land. Drenched, maybe Morgan meant. So, yeah, but Israel is there, and they're a nation, and they have made something of that land. And as I mentioned earlier, there is no apartheid. You hear that from any quarters in America. That's from somebody who don't know shit, to use proper English. Israel is not an apartheid country. You look at the definition of apartheid, and then look at what Israel allows in Israel. There are a lot of Palestinians, quote unquote, who became Israeli citizens that experience they are not officially on any official level. Are they discriminated against? They are citizens of the country, and they have the same rights, equal rights as anybody else.
They get to vote.
They get to vote. They get to work. You might have some people that don't like them, just like this country, whites and blacks. We all have the same rights. That doesn't mean there are not pockets of people that are stupid and racist. That happens. But in Israel, there is no apartheid. If somebody tells you that, that is false from the get-go. So, the musical fruit, says Randall Flagg. Yes, French breakfast is coffee and a cigarette. Irish breakfast is Guinness and a cigarette. And you know what? If you pour a cup of Guinness, it can look just like coffee. So there's that. I don't think I haven't.
I was someplace and I ordered a Guinness. The guy says, "I'm sorry, we don't have it." I said, "This is a bar, isn't it?"
Excuse me. This is a bar, is it not? Morgan Snow says, "Who dug up water pipes and made weapons out of it and recorded it?" I don't know. Who did that? The French? Hamas? Not comparing the French and Hamas, by the way. Just asking two different questions. So I don't know who did that. I didn't catch that, Morgan.
You really can't compare the French and Hamas. The Hamas people are not prone to surrender.
There it is. Well, when we did the reenacting, Brianna Learman is here. Good to see you, Brianna. What's going on? What's going on? When we did the reenacting, the Redcoats French and Indian War, we would walk through the camp and we'd say to the kids, "We're going to teach you a little French today," because we were fighting the French, and we'd say to the kids, "Repeat after me. I'm going to teach you some French now. Here's what we hear from the French every day. Say it after me. Say the word nous." And they all go, "nous. Rendons. Rendons. Les armes. Les armes." I said, "Now put it all together. Nous rendons les armes. Nous rendons les armes." I said, "Do you know what that means? We lay down our arms." They're surrendering. I said, "Now," I said, "when we walk by, we're going to march you by the French camp." We'd say to the kids that were there for school days. And we'd say, as we walk by, say, "Nous rendons les armes," and put your hands up and go, "Oh," while you're doing it. So we had all these kids walking by, and I'd yell out the order. I'd say, "What's the French saying for the day?" And all the kids would go, "Nous rendons les armes. Nous rendons les armes." We lay down our arms. We surrender. So there you go. Let Rainy know, says Audrey, the s'mores popcorn is really good. Thank you. Hey, Rainy, Audrey said the s'mores popcorn is really good. She's right up above me in the living room. So she's thinking of maybe coming down here. But she said, "I come and sit and you get on different topics and I don't talk, and so I get bored." I said, "Well, come in. You've got to be part of the show." Brianna says, "Sorry, we've been MIA lately. We moved." She's telling you guys this. We knew this. They moved into a new rental in town last week. Finally have our own space again with 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. Brianna, you are going to have to send us your address so we know where you are, unless you're hiding from us. We're going to have a little get-together here pretty soon. Thanksgiving's coming up, Brianna and John, and we're going to do a little Thanksgiving thing again when you guys are free. We'll do it on a Saturday or a Sunday when you're open. And so it's been nice, but it sucks that we weren't able to buy a house. Yeah, I know how that is around here. So it's nice to be in your own place again, though, even though it's a rental. Rather than they were staying at John's parents for a while. And so they got a new place now. It'll come. It'll come. Rainey and I don't own our own house right now, but we both owned our own houses in the past. I've owned 2 or 3 different houses. Rainey owned one when I met her. And we sacrificed her house so we could go buy the ranch. And then that deal went bad. Loosey-goosey contract for deed. And we haven't purchased a house since that. So we've lived in good rental homes. We're in this house now. which I was just talking again yesterday to the owner of the house about us buying it. And so they're pretty primed for us to buy this house. We're just trying to decide, do we want to stay in town here with it's a nice big piece of land that comes with this house. It's a big house, but is this where we want to be? Do we want to sink our money into save it up and get a little property and build, like this shipping container home or something like that? So, yes. And Steph says, rest in peace, Matthew Perry. And that was kind of a surprise in the news yesterday that Matthew Perry drowned. Then we found out he drowned in his jacuzzi. So
I
what
think
happened?
Matthew had some personal issues.
I think he did. Do you think he
Sad.
did? Did he pass out and drown? I mean, that's horrible. What a horrible way to go. But he was 54 years old. So Brianna says, yes, we will do a Friendsgiving soon. We'll find out John's schedule. Fantastic. We'll get it all worked out. We got room over here, so to do it. So Brianna, whenever it's time, you guys let us know what your schedules are. We'll talk more about that later. I know the girls would love to have the girls over. So we got Michael Brewer just came in. Let's bring up Michael Brewer. Michael Brewer, how you doing?
Hello, Michael.
How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Uncle John?
I'm okay.
I said how you're doing too.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just the
I had to
host.
unplug my external monitor. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, Richard Mall died too. He was what was his character's name again? Bull in Night Court, if you remember that series. I mean, he did lots of other things, but he became most known for that. Heart attack. Steph says Matthew Perry was clean. That's good. He had a heart attack in the hot tub. Oh. Audrey, I can get that. Now with my heart attacks, and I've talked about this, my heart attack, my big surgery scar running right down here. When I had my heart attack, I didn't know I was having one. I had discomfort in my shoulder and my armpit. That was it. I wasn't doing the clutchy chest thing. I had a friend of mine, Brad Hart, who I found out had a heart attack the same week, was in the hospital when I was there. We just didn't know it for 6 months. And he had a heart attack and he passed, and he was like 6 hours passed out on the floor. I think that's what he said, 6 hours. So if Matthew Perry at 54, I had my heart attack at 55, the big one that caused all of this.
I'm glad I'm past all of that.
Yeah. Well, I can understand having a friend who passed out for several hours due to a heart attack. You have a big heart attack and you pass out, could have sunk in the water and drowned. That's very sad. That's really sad.
That's odd.
That's tragic. That there was nobody there to catch that. That's too bad. So I liked him. I saw him in a movie where he played kind of a bad guy, a bad lawyer guy in a movie or something. Movie or a series. I don't remember what it was, about a year ago. He's pretty good doing that. And he just wrote a book. He said his book come out.
I got a kick out of that movie when he was an architect or was he an architect, or was he somebody who ran?
Was it the one with Selma Hayek?
Yes.
Yeah. All I remember about that movie is Selma Hayek coming up out of the stream or whatever it was. And you're like, hello. Yes, I'll be a Mexican. So
I got such a kick when they took him out, the California boy out hunting.
Yes. The rattlesnakes?
Yeah.
I remember that too. Steph says, by the way, it's the after effects of drug abuse.
Could be.
So you talking about his book or about the heart attack? Yeah, I could see that. The after effects of
It
drug
could be
abuse.
both.
So he had a heart attack and he passed out and he drowned in a hot tub. So, and you know what? With that underscores, we never know. You never know when you're going to go or how you're going to go.
No.
To die in a hot tub of a heart attack. That's crazy.
I don't know if they still got the New Night Court on or not. Because they brought back a new series.
Oh, I didn't know anything about that. Speaking of new, and I put up a post about this, how many of you saw the original Highlander movie that came out in the mid 80s?
Oh
yeah.
Fantastic
With,
cinematography.
Christopher Lambert. And you had Clancy Brown playing the Kurgan. They are doing finally. Now, of course, they did a few sequels. And I was telling my son about this yesterday. I said they did a sequel to Highlander a few years after in the early 90s. And it was horrid.
Oh,
and they did
that was one of the worst movies I've ever
one
seen.
of the worst movies ever made. Then they did another sequel to that, totally ignoring the sequel. Totally didn't even acknowledge it existed. They went back to the original storyline. And then,
they needed to.
They had the TV series with Adrian Paul playing.
That was good.
A cousin. I think he was supposed to be a cousin to Connor McLeod. He was Duncan McLeod. And the series did pretty well. And so that's what they did with Highlander. They are finally rebooting the original movie. And instead of, and of course, Christopher Lambert, he's almost 40 years older now. He's not playing the part. I'd be surprised. Maybe they'll have a bit part in it for him somewhere. But they have Henry Cavill, who played more recently Superman in the movies and The Witcher. He's picking up the role of Connor McLeod. And they say the director, it's the guy who directed all the John Wick movies, playing the Kurgan, who was played by Clancy Brown. Well, I love Clancy Brown. He was great as the Kurgan. He was great. If you ever saw that miniseries, HBO miniseries, it was Carnival. He was in that as the priest in Carnival. He's been in lots of movies. He's been in Star Trek, as a matter of fact, even. But Clancy Brown, the guy playing his role, is going to be the guy who played Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy. The big tattooed bald guy. He's playing the Kurgan. Dave something, and I don't know what his last name is off the top of my head.
You mentioned Maul earlier.
Batista.
That's it.
You mentioned Maul earlier.
Yeah.
He had a huge movie career as Monsters because he was so tall and lank. Right. He played I don't know how many costumed monsters in Hollywood.
Yes. Yeah, because of his size. Mm-hmm. Well, like Dave, whatever his last name was, in Guardians of the Galaxy, playing the Kurgan, he's 6'4" and built like a brick shithouse. He's a lifter, but he's in his early 50s, and look how good he still looks. So Audrey can't wait for Henry Cavill as a Highlander. Yeah. What you wear under your kilt? Why, my shoes, of course. So that's going to be a good. There it is. David Bautista. Is that what you said, Michael? I didn't quite understand you. I thought that's what you said.
Yeah, this mic ain't very good, and I can't get the other one to hook up here. I've had so much stuff on him.
I like him, by the way. I've seen him in other movies. I saw him in movies where he had hair.
Yeah, he was WWE for a long time. Then he made the jump over, and the movie that kind of put him on the map was the one where the
Guardians of the Galaxy put him on the map.
There was another one that he did with was it Jodie Foster or whatever, where she was a nurse and he was her orderly. I cannot remember the name of it. But
was Jodie Foster?
Yeah,
I can't think of what that movie was.
somebody could probably look it up. It was Jodie Foster and Dave Bautista.
A
And
Knock
she
on
is
the
old.
Cabin Door, says Steph.
Yeah. That's not the movie, but I remember that one too because he made the jump over and he did so.
He was a Viking, says Sandra.
No.
Was he in Vikings or a Viking?
Oh.
Randolph, like Princes of the Universe. Yeah, there you go. A Queen.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to utilize the Queen soundtrack, still some of the Queen songs, or if they're going to, we're going to totally update this. We're going to get a whole new band to do all different kinds of music for this.
Yeah.
I think it'd be neat if they would use some of the Queen's music in that. Prince of the Universe, Who Wants to Live Forever, some of those songs.
Or maybe Charlie Daniels.
I was showing some clips. My son had never seen that. He's 14.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was showing him a couple of clips from that movie yesterday, the original Highlander. The scene in the church where the Kurgan comes walking into the church and Connor McLeod is there. And he's all dressed in leathers and he's shaved his head and he's got the safety pins across the cut in his neck that Ramirez, the Sean Connery character, had put there. Oh, look who's coming in. We got to bring her in. Brianna Learman. How you doing, Brianna?
Look.
I'm looking. Hey! Harley. How are you? I see you. Look at that hair.
Look at that ponytail.
Woo!
You show Scotty your finger.
Show me your finger. What'd you do? Oh, what'd you do?
Boo-boo.
Got in a fight with the lazy Susan.
Oh, nice. I've been in fights like that before.
Yeah, get up here.
So what part of town is your, are you back in New Richmond?
We're 2 minutes away from the old place.
Okay.
Closer
So
to
you're
Walmart.
north or south part of town?
Closer to Walmart.
Oh, okay. I know
South.
all those buildings, the rental homes down there, the townhomes.
Yep.
Cool.
That was your sister.
Duty calls, huh?
I have. What's this one?
So we're talking about Highlander. Did you ever see the original Highlander, Brianna?
No. Just watch whatever's on Netflix.
Haley, I see part of your head. There she is. Haley and Harley.
Your blankie.
And the blanket. And Mom. So, yeah, I was showing these clips to Sam.
Jonathan's not here.
And one of the best scenes, I think, in the movie is that confrontation between Connor McLeod and the Kurgan in the church. And yeah, it was really well done. And my son enjoyed it. He said, it still looks like an old movie, Dad. But when you think about it,
Careful.
Highlander is almost 40 years old, that movie. I don't think of it as being that old. When I was 15, if I was watching a 40-year-old movie, let's see, in 1975, it would have been a movie made in 1935. First time I watched Casablanca, it wasn't even 40 years old yet. So in the mid-70s. And so, you know, those old movies, you think of that? You don't think of it in that context. The old black and whites, you know, all the Jimmy Cagney movies, the Humphrey Bogart movies, Edward G. Robinson movies, all of those sorts of movies, Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn, Spencer Tracy, all of those movies, when I was a kid in my teens, weren't even 40 years old yet. But we considered them, oh, those are old movies. Those are movies made when my mom was a kid. And so it's that same context. You think of that. My kid's watching like Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. That movie is 41 years old. And when you think
and
about
the movies it was homage to were 40 years old.
Yes.
When it was made.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it. How old is the original Batman with Adam West?
Well, that came out in the mid-'60s with Adam West. So that movie or that TV series came out when I was 6 years old. So that TV series is 55 plus years old.
Yeah.
Same with Star Trek.
Yeah.
Came out in 66.
And,
Lost in Space.
Yeah. William Shatner is still going strong. That's what's crazy. You know, because he's still going as strong as.
He's going strong. I did see a clip of him at an event that he put up, and he's in one of those little scooters to get around. Maybe it's because he's 90 or 92. He's 92, I think. And he's going strong. He's still got all his wits, and he can speak well. He still does his appearances. He's going to. We have said we want to go up and see the Star Trek sets rebuilt up in Ticonderoga, New York. He goes up there a couple times a year. He's going to be up there in November again this next month, and he comes. There's pictures of that of those events all the time. He's sitting in the captain's chair on the bridge, and people are gathered all around. He's telling his stories and stuff like that, and it's very, very cool.
You imagine being the captain of the Enterprise and getting to mention and think that was your real life, and you go to the set, you just sit there.
Oh, hell yeah!
Oh, that would be awesome.
Absolutely.
But him and Patrick Stewart, they're very similar in age, ain't they?
He's got 10 years on Patrick Stewart. So Patrick Stewart's 82, I think.
I know he still did good in Picard, and if people hasn't saw that, now that is worth watching.
Yeah. And he is lobbying for another Next Generation movie to be made. Patrick Stewart, I saw a thing with him, a little thing on Instagram, and he was talking about it. He says, "Yeah, I would like there to be another Next Generation film." He says, "I've got another film in me." He says, "I'm putting that out there to the studios if you want to do it," and they're obviously in talks. But he said, and he showed something like he's heading off on his walk with his dog or something like that. And he says, all I've got to do, he says, is all I need to do is just stay alive long enough and keep in shape. And he says, so I'm going for my walk, you know, oh, you got your coffee spilled on you, Brianne?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I have the towel over it.
Nice.
But you think about, what is it, Jonathan?
Let me help you out of those wet things.
What is
what's that, Michael?
The number 2 guy, Jonathan. I can't never think of his last name.
Jonathan
Riker. Yeah, Riker. You know, you look at him. You know, he's all gray in the beard now and stuff like that. Yeah,
well, they're all. That series premiered in 1988.
Yeah.
So when you think about that, the series is 35 years old. And so they've all aged 35 years. And it lasted for 7 seasons, was it?
Oh, was it?
And it ended in 94 was the last year they did Next Generation. So the series ended 30 years ago.
You think about it, the little boy, what was it, Crusher, whatever the hell his name was?
Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton, yeah. He was doing experiences as himself on Big Bang.
Yes.
You know, and he's aged. And
well, he said just last year or the year before, he said, I saw him. He does that after show for all the Star Trek new series.
Yeah.
Called what the heck is it called? The Briefing Room or something like that. And he says he does that after show, and he interviews all the actors and talks about the plot twists and the behind the scenes stuff. And he said on that show, he said, do you realize, he says, I am now the age that Patrick Stewart was when we first started Next Generation. And so he says, I'm the age of the captain when we started that series.
Oh.
He's in his late 40s, early 50s now.
Yeah.
And of course, we all know him from, if you remember the movie Stand By Me, which came before Star Trek The Next Generation.
Oh, they're supposed to be coming out with a new Stargate.
I haven't heard about that. I know they've got Strange New Worlds. Morgan Snow says, I love Strange New Worlds.
That's really good.
That's a really good series. It's really well done.
Yeah.
And by the way, and I've said it before, if any of you have not seen the series Picard, obviously starring Patrick Stewart, they ran that for 3 seasons. And he said the only reason he agreed to that, he says, I want it to be about Picard, not a redoing of the Next Generation series. He says, I want it to be about Picard, how he's aged, what he's doing. The first season was good. The second season, I didn't think was as strong. But the third season came back, and many people, myself included, have said the third season was probably the finest season of Star Trek ever made since the original series. And I agree with that. It was amazing in every way, shape, and form. So Randall Flagg says they need to cast Sean Bean in Highlander. His characters are always dying. Yeah, really. So, but Strange New Worlds, folks, if you haven't seen that, that is Anson Mount playing Captain Pike, who was the captain of the Enterprise before Kirk. So it's Pike and Spock, and they take it all off of. There was just one episode that showed them together, and it was originally, if you know Star Trek lore, the original premiere episode for Star Trek was Captain Pike and Spock, and number 1 was the first. That was the woman who ended up playing Nurse Chapel, Majel Barrett. She played the first officer. She had her long brunette hair. That I call it her Raini hair. And but the studio said that Star Trek, when they made this episode, it was they quoted, too cerebral for the public mind. And they didn't want to release it on TV. And so that's when Lucille Ball stepped in. Lucille Ball, I Love Lucy, saved Star Trek. They bought up Star Trek. Desilu Studios. You see it in the end credits of all the original Star Treks. Desilu Studios. She and Desi Arnaz. They bought up Star Trek. And they funded the making of a second pilot. That would be, and that's where Jeffrey Hunter, who played Captain Pike, his wife was his agent. She was demanding more money, and the studio turned her down. Pike walked, or Jeffrey Hunter walked, and he died not long afterwards. But I can't remember, it was a bus crash or some accident. He died, and but William Shatner. That's when they hired William Shatner to play Kirk. So it became Kirk and Spock. And I mean, what a change of events there. So, but Captain Pike, now they've picked up that character with Strange New Worlds. And Brianna, have you seen that series yet? Strange New Worlds? Oh, you have got to watch it. If you're
Yes, that is the scared face. Sorry. She's going through her emotion book.
Oh, nice.
You want to show Scotty and the guys?
That's the scared face.
When you feel scared, what can you do? Show that part.
What do you do with a scared face? What I feel scared. I'd have to blow you up here.
Sit and try to calm myself, turn the light on, talk to someone, hug my favorite toy, and ask for a hug.
There it is. Hug my favorite toy. Ask for a hug. That's what I do when I get scared. I ask for hugs.
Bring it here.
So.
Okay. Yeah, Haley just scared the shit out of her.
And yeah, Pike has a cool attitude, says Morgan Snow. Yeah, I like Anson Mount's portrayal of Pike. He does a pretty good job with it. I think they have some good writers on that show, too. There's even episodes they did that should not have worked. That worked because of the writers and the ensemble cast they have and the actors they have. When they did that, they did an episode where it was a musical and everybody was breaking into song. You think, what a lame thing for a Star Trek episode. Except they explained it away. Everybody was affected by something, some other or another, and they expressed it in music, and they even addressed that in the show. They go, "Why am I singing?" But it was well done. The songs were well written, and so you were like, that actually worked for it being a really weird concept. They had other concepts in the show that worked really well. So, and of course, Pike, we all know from the original series, was badly injured. And he shows up in that wheelchair where he can't speak, he can't move. All he's got are the little lights. And this is the 60s technology. The little lights. He could go yes and he could go no in this big wheelchair. And that's the way they took that original pilot episode and worked it into a 2-part Star Trek episode where Spock, his old science officer and friend, hijacks the Enterprise to take Pike back to that planet in the original show.
Talos 3.
Talos 3, the only planet that the Federation holds a death penalty on for visiting, if you visit. And and that's all explained, of course, in the series. And so it was, and all Pike could do, he was all mangled, heavy makeup on the actor, and just sat like that in this chair that came up to his shoulders. And all he could do is bleep yes and no. Well, modern technology, you write that story today, he'd be able to do a hell of a lot more than yes and no. But so that's how they wrote Pike in. So they addressed that in the first season of it was before the first season. It was the last season. It was a season of Discovery where they had Pike and Spock in the second or the third season of that show. And they diverted the storyline into that. And you found out how Pike gets injured. You find out that he finds out his future at that point. And so Pike is a guy, when you go into the series, he's a guy with PTSD from the get-go. He knows how he's going to die. He knows it's going to happen. He doesn't know when. He's just hiding out. He didn't want to be in service and duty anymore. And of course, the whole series events wrap around that. And so it's a very interesting series. And you don't know. What you're not knowing now is, because Pike knows what his future is and what his death will be, will he have the ability to avoid it? But then again, he's got to know when it happens. And it was very interesting. They had an episode in the first season of Strange New Worlds where Pike, dealing with all of this stuff behind the scenes, he's dealing with all this. His older self comes and visits him in his cabin. Older self, 15, 20 years later, older. And it was pretty cool the way they pulled it off. Pretty cool, the uniforms and all of that. And shows Pike what it would be like, because Pike was going to resign or something like that. And he showed him what would happen if he resigned, if he didn't do certain things. And it was kind of like the typical, what was the movie?
Kind of like a paradox.
Yeah, there's a movie I really liked. This movie, it was a Nicolas Cage movie. What was it called? He was this very successful businessman, probably worth millions, on Wall Street, and he bumps into a guy that's robbing a store, and finds out this guy's an angel. And this angel gives him a chance to figure out his life. He says, I'm gonna give you a glimpse. And it takes him back. So was it several years in time? He goes, no, it's present day, but now he's got a wife and he's got kids. And it's a woman that he was in love with, that he made a fateful decision when he was young to not follow her where she was going or to chase after her. And he went into his career instead. And he became this multimillionaire, not married. And now he ends up, he wakes up and he's got a wife and kids. And the one kid recognizes, you're not my dad, are you? Where's my dad? Where's my real dad? But the whole movie, I can't remember what it's called. Anybody remember what that movie is? Sorry, Brianna. She said she's got to go. The kids won't stop fighting. I don't know if she's gone, or just stepped away. What was that movie, anybody? Family Man. It's called Family Man.
I tell you what, not to give away no spoilers.
If you haven't seen it, I'd love to talk about that movie and how it ends, and the highly emotional. And it was a really good movie. If you haven't seen Family Man with Nicolas Cage, watch that. It's well worth it. If you've got a family and you're a guy, it's going to get to you. So, but it was the same concept. It's that glimpse that we was talking about, Pike. You got that glimpse into his future. Dang, kids are having attitudes now, Brianna.
Oh, Lord.
Taser our
work.
Biggest attitudinal child is Ellery. Like I said, she thinks she's the queen of the universe, and we just haven't figured it out yet. But she lets us know every day.
Oh, yeah.
Flynn he's quiet. He doesn't really care, but he's got an attitude. He punches the wall if he doesn't like to do the dishes or whatever, Rowan is as squirrely as ever, just with attitude now. With attitude and boobs now. God help us.
Yeah, Harley was just slamming her door shut because I took Haley's money away from her.
Yep. My kids slam their doors. Every single kid's bedroom door is broken in this house. They've broken the little framework things, the little strip, the I don't know, it's like a molding strip that sits on the inside of the frame of the door, the little strip that comes down to keep the door from flying open. Those are broken on everybody's doors. So they kick their doors, or they
please turn the fan off.
Like, stop ruining things in our house, guys. So they'll come around eventually.
I want to see more Captain 7 and 9. That's what I want to see. Not to give away no spoilers.
Yeah, more 7 and 9. Yeah, I want to see more 7 and 9.
Yeah. What's her name? Oh, she was
the actress.
Yeah, I can't
Ryan.
Stop.
Not Meg Ryan. Jerry Ryan.
Jerry Ryan. Yeah.
Yeah, she's all right.
Because they left that open, so.
Yep, they left that wide open. And I think keep seeing a thing saying the fans have been heard. I think they're going to develop something with her. And of course, what did they do? They renamed the Titan the Enterprise.
I wasn't going to say that because if nobody had saw it, I won't.
Oh, yeah, and if you haven't seen that, sorry. That's the end of Picard, by the way.
Yeah.
I liked that flaky captain who was the captain of the Titan. He was an asshole, but he was a cool asshole.
He was like by the book, whatever.
By the book asshole. And he also did some assholery things to Picard.
Yeah.
He held some grudges, but he also was heroic.
Yeah. Oh, what was his name? I was trying to think what his name was.
Hey, Scott Allen. Good to see you.
The guy who played him.
Yeah. He showed off. He got his action figure.
Yeah.
He showed that off on his Instagram. I can't remember his name. Scotty, you heard of Scotty's Castle? I think it's in a desert somewhere. Saw it on Ghost Adventures. I have not heard of that.
Have to look
What
it up.
is Scotty's Castle?
is in the desert. Or is
Death
it-
Valley National Park. It's in Death Valley. Scotty's Castle, also known as Death Valley Ranch, is a 2-story mission revival. Spanish colonial revival style villa located in the Grapevine Mountains in the northern Death Valley. And it's named for gold prospector Walter E. Scott, although Scott never owned it, nor is it an actual castle. The ranch is about 45 minutes north of Stovepipe Wells, California. State Route 190, by the way. About a 3-hour drive from Las Vegas. It was severely damaged by flooding in October 2015 and a fire in 2021 that destroyed the historic garage that was used as a visitor center. It's temporarily closed. The history of it, there's some cool pictures of it. Great place. I'd live here. What did Ghost Adventures find out about this place? I'm going to copy that image. I'll show you a picture of Scotty's Castle, even though we're over time here right now, because we usually end at 11. I'll show you this picture, and then we'll start to wrap things up here. Here's Scotty's Castle. I got to save it as a PDF so I can import it into the show.
You didn't know you had no such thing, did you?
I never knew I owned a castle.
No.
I think it'd be neat to find out if any of my ancestors owned castles.
I was talking to some family and figured out that we got lords and ladies that came over.
Nice.
And I'm like, might have to go over and make a stance. Get sorted. But it just felt
Here you
good.
go.
To be
Let's
able
bring in.
to let Uncle John look at me this morning because my week has been chaotic.
Yeah, a chaotic week.
You know, about to look at me disheveled and.
By the way, I have something planned that I don't.
Michael,
have
you gave me a flash of a movie called King Ralph.
King Ralph, that's it. Hey, King Ralph, yeah. Everybody.
planned.
Enjoy taking a picture.
John Goodman.
Here you go. Here's Scotty's Castle. John, how you doing?
Hey, bud.
There's Scotty's Castle that apparently
Yeah.
Ghost Adventures has visited. It's in Death Valley Park in California.
Yeah.
The northern parts of the park. So there you
Now
go.
want to come back?
Oh, no,
I got a
looks
castle somewhere. I'd live
Hey.
there.
Hey,
Would you
looks
live there?
awesome.
Only if you pay for it.
Yeah,
Done.
what do they call it? Art Deco or whatever they call that.
You can live in the servants' quarters. You can cook for us and clean for us
What do they call that style? It's
because
more
we're
of a,
rich like
Or you
that.
smell like sausage.
You smell like sausage.
Yeah, we had maple sausage for breakfast.
I was going to say, Raini said that to me earlier. You smell like
carried
sausage.
around for later.
I'm like, what?
Do you need help carrying it in?
John has to leave on that. I'm sorry I offended you, John.
It's okay.
He's got to go get
No.
our.
I accept your apology.
All right.
Needs to
I
go
accept
grab-
the fact that you accept my apology.
He needs to
All
go.
right,
grab
guys,
the-
we got to start wrapping it up. It is 11:15, and so we're technically 15 minutes longer than we normally go on Sunday morning. John, it was good to see you for a glimpse. We got to get you guys over, and sometime very
I'm gonna
soon.
have you come over and see the place.
Yeah, tell us when. We'll stop by. So
Whenever he decides to actually help put stuff away.
nice.
Really?
I can help you with that. We just put in
Wait,
we put in a wood laminate floor all upstairs. We just finished that. Pulled the skanky carpet out. So
Oh, that's good.
yeah,
We just got, or they put brand new carpet in before we even moved in.
nice.
And
That's nice.
repainted everything.
That should be a given. You know, there should be some rules for that in Wisconsin. They got more stringent rules across the river in Minnesota. You have to paint a place between tenants, and I think you have to change the carpet if the carpet is bad enough. You've got to
It's
change
every
it
5 years.
every 5 years.
In Minnesota.
Well, there it is. Well, everybody, let's get out of here. Let's go enjoy our days. You crack the whip on John over there, Brianna. Get him to put things away.
He just picked up an entertainment center, so he's going to bring that in. And I have to go write a technology philosophy thesis or something.
Fun. John, by the way, folks, helped me move my big treadmill, and that was heavier than a piano. That was
Your
crazy.
coat rack?
Yep, and we've got a deep basement because we got higher ceilings in the basement, and so big stairway. He helped carry that thing down. Not fun.
Live from now on. Okay.
So
that's better than eat those and all that stuff. She's talking about eating her. Oh no. I had to deep dive that the other night. I was sitting here about ready to beat my head to the wall.
Who gave you your candy bucket?
But I was going to ask you, send me the link to Amazon for your book because I had it with me the other day when I was doing
okay.
Stuff there.
I've got some here too. That line of books right there, right where my finger is. That's all the Nephilim books I have left. There's 5 or 6 of them there. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 of them. So if anybody wants one of those, we've got them.
He does. That's the reason I messaged you. Like I said, I was sitting there and then Little Orderly came in. He said, what are you reading? And I told him, I said, a book.
I'm reading this book.
He's like, oh, you know about the Nephilim? I'm like, yeah, who don't? You know? I said,
who don't? Well, cool. Yeah, I'll send you the link.
I didn't get to read much of it, but I had that.
He can get it through me, or he can get it on Amazon.
It probably better it could come from you or whatever. Like I said, if you want to,
it costs more from me, so because I'd have to ship it, but so
it'd be all right. It'd be
either
okay.
way. Or you just go to Amazon, look up the title of the book.
I was going to say, if you
got
got the link, send it to me. I'll send it over.
There's an audio version of that book as well.
Yeah, that's what I told him. I said, I think I'll get the book. I said, if he ever gets the thumb out of his backside, they're going to be a reverse part 2. There's more books, but that was the one that I had got, and I want more of them when I get my bookshelf set up and get everything kind of
all right. Well, and on that note, we're going to get out of here.
All right,
Brianna, good to see you. Let's all talk. Let's figure out a time to all get together, and you have a good day, a fun day. Give John a big hug for me, and move on from there. So good to see you and the kids.
Good to
see you later. Bye.
Bye.
Love you. Michael, good to see you, brother. I'm going to let you go as well. Thanks for coming on. Uncle John, thanks for being here. We'll see you soon. And everybody else, thanks for being here today. We ran quite a bit over, but that's just the way it goes here sometimes. It's a Sunday. What are you going to do? So let's get out of here. We'll see you all tomorrow night for Intrepid Radio. And just watch for the announcements, and we'll take it from there. All right, everybody. Live long and prosper.